I went to both Walmarts here in town, City Market and Safeway, the other day, and there wasn't a fresh tomato to be found. Welcome to the Chili Prepper channel. It is Mother's Day weekend in Western Colorado and across the world for that matter. But for me, it actually shows on my weather app anyway, that we've really crossed a serious hump. So if you follow me at all, you'll know that my Western Colorado weather is crazy. And we have been very cold at night, getting really warm during the day, which wreaks havoc on the plants. But next week it shows we're going to be in the 90s all week all of a sudden. So this is what I talk about when I say we have crazy weather. If you followed me for any amount of time, you know I have a love-hate relationship with these big seed cell trays. But I wanted to really try to use it and see how many tomatoes and regular flowers. I've got zinnias and marigolds and all that good stuff in here too. And this is the first year in about 10 years that I've used these big multi-packs. Normally you see I use the 4 cells and put one in each corner and separate them. So let's go inside, take a deep dive into these and see if it can change my mind. And I've also got a 128 seed cell tray of flowers this year. So I've been focusing over like the last 5 years maybe, started getting more into paying close attention to the pollinators, and every year my bee population that hangs out between these two backyards is getting bigger and bigger, like noticeably bigger and bigger. And really up until now I've only done nasturtiums and marigolds, and I've kept some of my seeds because I've got the mixed color Happy Days marigold and Jolly Jester marigold in here, which we actually have some already popping. And then we've got Coleus and aramith and zinnia and lavender and sweet basil and purple basil, stuff that I really like. But you gotta find a way to bring your pollinators in, and you would not believe, if you can accomplish it, what a difference it makes in your garden. And I know there's all kinds of things on both sides. People argue it about all the pollinators, but I don't think we can really argue that over time the pollinator populations are going down. There's some argument about when some say a specific species of bee is about to be wiped out. That's not all bees, but I think as a human race we need to be doing everything we can to protect our food through, or by way, I guess, of pollinators. So I'm really planting flowers everywhere, especially flowers they like marigold. They also do like your leafy greens. Let your leafy greens go to bolt and flower, and then your bees have something early to eat. Because if you don't know, as bees start to wake up, which where I'm at, we're in that time right now, and we have been for a few weeks, it's not like right now, but the bees start coming out and really they don't have anything to go off of other than maybe what pops up as weeds in your grass, dandelions and that kind of thing. So if you can, I would encourage you to let your plants go to bolt that you had over the winter, because they're gonna bolt. Stuff like your kales, your lettuces, bok choys. I know Stefan over in Colorado Springs sent me a message saying he had voluntary bok choy all over the yard, and I had that last year. If you watch some of my videos, they went all over, and I just let them grow and then plucked out the ones I didn't want, thinned them out, and fed the chickens on that bok choy. And now I've got bolting bok choy. And actually, you know what? Let's go take a look. To most people, the Chili Prepper garden would look horrible now if you look back here just at all the weeds and everything. But I do this every year for the pollinators. So here we have one of the dinosaur kales, and when kale bolts, it goes to all the flowers, it produces the seed and then drops the seed and restarts itself. But bees use the pollen out of these flowers. I did the same thing over here with my collard plants. Moses at Urban Backyard Container Garden has done a lot with collards, and I had never done it before. So I tried it at the end of season and over winter in the greenhouse. It did pretty good. It didn't get crazy, because then all of a sudden we started getting warm and it bolted, and you'll see most of the flowers on it are gone now, but it was covered in flowers just the other day and bees were everywhere. So I encourage you to let them go to bolt. Now back to what we're doing in this video, and it's time to up pot all these tomato plants. So this is a 128 seed cell. Again, I can't preach enough about watch Facebook Marketplace. My son and I watched Facebook Marketplace, and about an hour, maybe 45 minutes only drive from here, just south of here, some people had cases and cases of the 128 cell seed trays, and they gave them away for free at the end of last season. I don't know what happened, but they did. So I have cases of them stacked in my garage, enough for probably my grandkids' gardens. So keep an eye on Facebook Marketplace. But the reason that I historically haven't liked the 128 seed cell trays is they're a pain in my behind to get them out. So what I tried this time is letting the soil dry out, which is something that I'm not good at doing. I'm an overwaterer, not an underwater, and I'm not saying that's a good thing. It's just the way it works. So I let it dry out, and I let the tomato plants get big enough that I knew the roots would take up that space. And now look, you can just pull it right out. So I have a ton of different kinds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different kinds of tomatoes in here. We're gonna put about 100 different tomato plants across the multiple gardens going back here, because this year, more than most, I think we're gonna need it, and we'll talk about that more as time goes on. But regardless of what you believe or think or anything else out there in this crazy world, our food supply is declining slowly, sometimes what feels like quickly, so you need to grow as much as possible. So this year, instead of selling all my starts, I'm potting up as much as I can, and I'm really focusing on the things that we like to eat. Let's take a look. Of course you're going to need some soil, but you're only going to need a few more things. You're going to need some bigger pots to go into. Now, you probably see back there my 1-gallon pots. This year I decided to wait a little bit longer, start the seeds, let them grow up, transplant them into a 4-inch pot when they have plenty of time to adapt, and then they're going to go straight in the garden. We're not going to go to the bigger pot. 1, that hopefully will save me on soil. 2, it's going to save me a lot on time. You're also going to want to make sure you have plenty of things to mark with, and don't forget when you're down that trail to make sure you have a Sharpie. Sharpies just work the best for me. I mean, it's kind of like duct tape. Sharpies do what they're supposed to. Okay, so I've got my plug here. And in the 128 cell, that's how big it is. And that tomato plant is, I want to say 3 weeks. I'll have to double check. 3 weeks old. So tomatoes grow really quick. Your roots actually look pretty good. I mean, you want to go through and just kind of check them out. I didn't let it dry out too much, so that's a good thing. And I think that's going to work and work out pretty well. So of course you're going to need soil. Then we're just going to set the tomato down in there and just fill it up around the edges. That's all I'm going to do for up potting. Don't overthink this. Starting seeds and up potting are some of the easiest things in the world, but it scares people the most. And if you're just starting out, I can't stress enough how important it is to just mark every one. You're going to want to try to save some time and save some money, and we're only talking about pennies. When you put one in and do a whole row or maybe 2 rows and skip to the next one, the chance of error on our part, month or however weeks, however long it is down the road before they come out of there, is huge. And then you could end up with something in a pot that you thought was one thing and it turns out to be the other. Then you're going to blame it on the seed company, and it's just going to be a whole big mess. So do me a favor, just don't stress the pennies and get you a whole bunch of these and make sure you mark every single one. Don't forget to give it a really good drink, and then wait, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it could even be an hour, however long you want, and hit it with water again so that way it can fill all the cracks and crevices inside your pot and start compacting that soil down. I put it on the north side of my greenhouse where I have this shade cloth up here for about a week to acclimate. I keep my big greenhouse fans going on high during the day so that they're really getting hit with wind to acclimate to the outside. before I come over to the south side that's wide open here to the sun for about a week, and then they're going to go out in the garden. That's really all there is to it, especially when you're talking tomatoes. It's about identical when you're talking peppers as well. Let's take a look at a couple of the flowers we got going and see if they come out just as easy. Now there's lots of ways that you can do this, but the one that works for me, and it's because I always have it in my pocket, is you can take your pocket knife. I let this soil dry out a little bit too much in my quest to try to get them out nice and easy. But all I do is, we'll pick which one we're going to go with. Let's take this zinnia right here and just slide either a butter knife, it could be your pocket knife. Hell, I've even seen people use the tip of here, slide it in there. All you want to do is make sure that the soil is free from the edge of the plastic. So I do all four sides, and then a lot of times, let's see if we can get this on, you can just pull it out by the plant and it'll work just fine. So I think it works. Is it as easy as my 4 seeds in a 4-cell? I don't know. I'm kind of starting to come around, and seeing that I have cases of these, I think I'm going to use them. Now, it doesn't matter if you're up potting to a 4-inch. These are a little bit stronger. Of course, they cost a little bit more. You can get a really good deal on these little, and they're, I'm going to use the word flimsy plastic, but I mean, they last for years. But they're just really simple, and on Amazon you can buy sleeves of like 250 of these for a long time. You can use the red Solo cups. I don't care if you use just regular Dixie cups or the styrofoam cups or fast food cups. It doesn't really matter. The whole point is get out there and plant. And I do absolutely think that this year we're going to see it a lot more. If you haven't, or if it hasn't hit your area, I didn't know anything about it. And so again, if you follow me, you've seen some of my chickens videos, and I make them fresh salads from everything I grow. I make them a salad every morning. This time of year though, I don't have tomatoes, so I buy the tomatoes from Walmart. I buy the fresh tomatoes, cut them up and top it on top of their salad, and I put it on top of their regular food too. And all of a sudden I couldn't find tomatoes, and I hadn't heard anything in the mainstream media about it. But if you Google tomato shortage right now, you'll find out that we're over 80% less supply right now than we normally are. And it lists multiple reasons. It's like the perfect storm. There were freezes in Florida and something in Mexico, and then of course they have to throw tariffs in there, which that just means it's going to cost more. It's not going to take it out of our grocery store. But I went to both Walmarts here in town, City Market and Safeway, the other day, and there wasn't a fresh tomato to be found. I had to buy canned tomatoes. So this year, instead of selling them out front like I normally do, which I know I have a lot of upset people, they're calling me like crazy, I'm going to try to plant about 100 tomato plants back here, and we're going to watch it on film. Well, I guess it isn't film. See, I dated myself. We're going to watch it on video. We're going to watch it on video throughout the year and see how it goes. Hopefully this year is a good tomato growing season. You're not too late. I don't care what Facebook tells you. I keep seeing it on the forums. You're not too late. You can start seeds right now. I did just look. These are 4.5 weeks old, not 3 weeks old. But if you plant now, put them under some lights in the house, in a month from now they go outside, and in another month or 2 from there you've got tomatoes. Tomato plants are resilient. The hotter the pepper plant, a little bit longer it takes, but you still have time. I've planted this late, and I still haven't planted like my bell pepper seeds and all my different sweet peppers. I'm about to plant those probably this weekend and get those rolling. So don't listen to all the hype, and don't listen to all of us YouTube influencers, whatever you want to call me, a garden guru, I don't know. Don't listen to all that. We get a head start on everything, but that doesn't mean you're too late. Get your seeds in the ground, try to grow something, trade with your neighbors, and trust me, it'll help you out in the long run. We'll see you on the next one, and always remember, you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared. Oh, wait a sec. Don't go nowhere. If you watched my old video when I took the seeds out of the Walmart tomato and planted them, this was in February 6th. They are still growing. We'll see you on the next one.